So I think finally we are live. Finally
we are live.
Check.
Check this. Well, yours looks like it's working, yes.
My God. Sorry about all this inconvenience. 20 minutes after we are finally live. For some reason we couldn't do it before. I don't know. Sometimes technology just works against us.
Yes. So my people, we are live now.
So I have an idea.
Fran's Instagram.
Why don't you place your phone here?
With a live?
Yeah.
Okay, but I need to see the comments.
You can see it on my phone.
But from my account, because we have doing 2 accounts.
Okay. I'm improvising.
We're trying to improvise. Anyway, it's gonna be on Francisco's, but mine is not working.
So let's get right into today's topic. So yeah, thank you Jessica for the comments. As I said, sometimes when you hear things from someone else, everything just starts clicking and you're like, oh shit, this is what I've been doing the whole time. So yes, I'm glad I'm glad our stories are resonating with you, because we're not like gurus or something. No, we're just telling our stories and hopefully it resonates with you.
Yes. That's what we hope for.
So how are we gonna start?
We're gonna start by commenting on your hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so
got a new haircut.
I like I don't know. I kind of like it, but it was a shock because I went to the hairdresser and they were like, hey, I'm bored. Surprise me. And he was like, say no more.
But you never say bored to a hairdresser. You never say bored to a hairdresser.
So that's what he did.
Because last time I did that, I ended up with blonde hair.
Okay.
But I loved it. I loved my blonde hair face. Maybe I should go back.
New cut.
Because
Thank you, Klaus. Yes, new cut.
Who?
Claudio. Klaus. Oh yeah. So, and we are also gonna comment on.
Okay, so before we begin our topic of endings today, I'm gonna switch on the live here so I can see your comments too. But we're gonna begin by discussing something we did last weekend.
Yeah, the perfume.
So we both made our perfumes, but Fran forgot to bring his. So we just wanted to share that experience about like using your senses to kind of like change your energy and shift stuff. Because the sense of smell is such an interesting and beautiful scent to work with. Sense to work with.
Yeah, and when I was telling this during the workshop, for me this is very primal. Like, I remember things from my past, things I have lived, my culture, my country, my family. So yeah, for me, yeah, that sense is very important. And smells in general are important.
Yeah, but for me, in the beginning I was like, yeah, no, it doesn't remind me of anything. But then as we were exploring, I got memories and it was just really incredible. So if you guys are in Barcelona, we're gonna tag the Instagram of it here. And it's a great workshop, and Bertie had so much knowledge and he knew so much, and he created a lot of experiences using scents. So we recommend him a lot, and we're not getting paid for this, we're just telling you.
Hopefully one day.
Hopefully.
I don't know. Hashtag wanna be sponsored. Hashtag sponsor us, please.
Sponsor you. The other part I wanted to talk about is I've been gifted this by Halaya as well. And it's incredible vegan, sustainable products that I didn't think were gonna be really good, but I've been using it. So she has a shop. She has an online shop called Halaya, and she just brings in brands that are sustainable, that are eco-friendly, that are natural, and don't have chemicals, and that are vegan. And this is one of the hyaluronic acid ones that she sent me because she loved and recommended it, and I just really loved it. So I just wanted to make a shout out, and again, we're gonna put it in the comment as well. Her stuff. Again, not getting paid. Well, these were gifted, so I don't know if this is considered an app.
Anti-aging booster. Okay.
Yeah. So, I'm just like getting
So
up.
before we start, yeah, are we gonna start now with the topics or?
Maybe we should start like a bit of like a breathing so I can calm down after that like crazy technology situation.
Yeah, 20 minutes late.
20 minutes late and still my live from my Instagram didn't work. So
Grab your tea, we have your tea around. So what's the tea of today?
the tea of today, we're gonna take a couple of deep breaths. So I can center that. And thank you for the ambience of the fire that you've created today. Maybe that's what really stopped my
The candles.
my breath. So the topic of today, we're doing endings.
Yeah.
We're really going to be talking about endings because that Scorpio new moon was so intense for so many people. I for one felt it quite deeply. So I kind of like wanted our topics to be like about it more.
Yeah. How did it go this I mean, we're still under the effects.
We're still under the effects, but I think it's like the end of it. You need to like stop
You
eating
need to stop eating the candies, thank
You
you.
need to start eating real food, Fran.
Sorry.
It was like it's very interesting when two energies that are so different, like an energy of new moon and then the energy of Scorpio. So Scorpio is about death, rebirth, and endings, and then being mixed with an energy of a new moon is quite incredible, and at the same time, interesting combination because it's bringing in both things like endings and new beginnings, like quite
the
together.
beginning of the end.
Or the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end, which also means the beginning of the new thing.
Yeah, because endings are never usually just endings.
It's
like kind of like moving into like another chapter or another
transition, transformation.
And one of the things we were talking about when we were discussing this was also transition.
Yeah. So what happens when things end? Because probably a lot of us are going through this periods, right? When we decided to end job, relationships, habits,
patterns,
projects,
yeah,
and So in my case, it was the way I used to work, and also my job. I decided to end it. So for me, I'm right now in the transition mode of okay. I mean, I planned this a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, you don't feel the full effect until it actually happens.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about how you deal with this transition.
But before that, maybe we can ask people. So, did anybody have something end? If anybody wants to share something with us about endings, it'd be really cool to talk about it. In terms of me, like I think a part of me is ending. A major part of me feels like it's ending. And it's just like a part and a pattern that is within me that has kept me safe for a very long time. It's just starting to feel like it's kind of like ending, it's closing, because I no longer want to feel the way I felt. I no longer want to be afraid to actually think that my dreams can happen and just kind of be comfortable in a situation that but I don't think even be comfortable. So I think that was
And how do you deal with that?
I'm dealing with it now. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of allowing myself to go through the motions, but without it kind of stopping me from working as much. I know, when we have a flu or when we're sick, we don't expect ourselves to like perform 100%. But when we have an emotional flu, we tend to not have the same we tend to forget that we are having this kind of like emotional flu, and we have our expectations the same as when we're healthy and when we're good and we're not going through something. But for me this time what I'm doing is I'm kind of like allowing
Sorry.
Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry, be sexy. So for me, allowing myself to take my expectations with work and performing and feeling my best all the time, to kind of like go down a bit, and allowing myself to be sad and asking for help and asking for support from the people closest to me is something that it's kind of like new to me as well.
Yeah.
What about you? How have you been dealing with your endings?
Me, although I usually plan the endings, because I'm very, I like to.
Capricorn.
Yeah, exactly. That is my Capricorn side. I mean, my Scorpio side loves endings, and this is where it performs the best. But my Capricorn side is like, okay, yeah, but you need to plan this. You need to have like plan B, plan C, plan D.
Yeah.
But when I go through those moments, as you may see, I sleep a lot.
Yeah, you're like a bear.
Crazy. I mean, I can spend 1 week, 2 weeks on my bed, on the couch, just sleeping, eating, going back to bed, doing anything. So I've been trying to do that. I haven't been able to do it fully, only
but you've been, like, in and out.
2 days so far, because I had to work. But yeah, so what I do is I take my time. I stop working as much, and I rest. Yeah. Also,
because I think as we let go our bodies, we don't understand how much it takes a toll on our bodies, it takes a toll on our emotions, and it's like we forget that we need to rest because we constantly want to run away from this pain, and we're like, I just want it to stop, I just want this to end, and I want to like deal with it. But it's like this pause is so important, and this rest is so important for the new beginning to become, so you can have energy for the new beginning.
I remember when I left my last job, was my former studio, like 1 year ago. Yeah, something like this. I slept like for 3 weeks. I didn't leave my house for 3 weeks, and I was sleeping and I was recovering because I had a burnout.
Yeah.
And
Hi, Valeria. Yeah.
and then I went to the pharmacy, like my first time outside my house. I went to the pharmacy, and of course the pharmacy ladies used to know me. And they were like, "Whoa, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? You look great. You changed. You're a different person." And I'm like, "Oh, great."
Your hibernation.
So I think that's a part also of the transformation, that you change from physically, energetically.
Yes.
People feel it and people see it. Maybe that's why I had a haircut, because I need to change.
Yeah, maybe that's why I also had my
Exactly. That's a part of the transformation process.
And I think also that we forget that the transition between endings and then new beginnings is such a big, important aspect that it's kind of like the old self is also like kind of like trying to find the balance between the new self or the new process, and it's kind of like recalibrating and rest and allowing that. For me, it's an inner war as well, allowing that inner war to be the way it needs to be, and I feel like I need to like look that way. Feel the way it needs to be is something we forget to do.
And also, just had one thing that just came up. It's so important because there's a part of ourselves that also end.
Yeah.
A part of who we are, or what we think we are, and now we need to create a different person or add some attributes to our personality and create a new person and transform ourselves.
Yeah, so, and also when we let go, we are.
Yeah. So that's why we need these transition moments to being able to fully let go of the person that is no longer us.
And also grieve that person that is no longer us.
And thank that person. Thank that person because it had a function, and that no longer serves you or is no longer helping you evolve. But yeah,
And I think this brings us also to a big part of forgiving ourselves, because forgiving ourselves and forgiving the people around us and forgiving the situations or whatever has ended is such a big part of allowing ourselves to move forward and heal instead of going back to the pattern and repeating it. Self-forgiveness is, I think, key to healing, because we feel like a lot of the times when somebody makes a mistake, they need to be punished, or we need to punish ourselves for making a mistake, when actually mistakes need to just be corrected.
Yeah.
And learned from.
I think that's super important. Forgive us and the other part of the other parties involved, because we don't want to carry those emotions to the next phase.
But what is forgiveness to you?
Forgiveness is just, well, be aware of what happens in the situations and being okay with it. Being okay, I mean, have a bigger understanding, not from my point of view, from a third party point of view, from an observer point of view.
Okay.
So once you understand that, you're like, okay, this had a function, this happened because this and this and this and this, so I'm okay with it. For me, that's forgiveness.
For me,
understanding the bigger picture.
For me, it's a bit different. For me, forgiveness is because we get angry and we get unforgiving when we feel a lot of pain and situations that have caused us pain. I feel like when we hold on to these situations, it's kind of like we're holding like things that are burning and we're just burning our hands by just holding them. And when we forgive, you just like kind of like, okay, I'm letting go of this pain and I'm giving it to the universe and I'm giving it to the world. I no longer hold it and I no longer allow it to control my life, control my decisions, control where I'm going. And this is how I feel. And I always feel like forgiveness doesn't come from a place of broken. It comes from a place of like, whenever I do visualizations for a forgiveness exercise, I use a visual of putting people on your throne and allowing them to forgive these situations. Because when you're forgiving, you're in a place of power as well.
Yeah.
Because you're just letting go of something that's bringing you down.
For me, well, there was a story that Alicia is a friend of us, told me one day, and that's what helped me understand forgiveness. Well, that's how I came up with my definition of forgiveness. Because she was like, okay, so imagine there's a little nest up in the trees.
I love her.
I love these stories of her. There's a little nest up in the trees and there's a bird couple. So the nest has enough space for two of them. But then they decided to have a little bird. So they have a little kid. But now there are three of them and the nest is not big enough for the three of them. So while the bird is growing, the father needs to go out to build a bigger nest. And the mother needs to go out to for the food. So while the parents are out, the little bird is hungry, it's cold, maybe it rains, it wet, so it's miserable and it's hating his parents at that particular moment. And he grows with those emotions because he cannot understand the big picture. That while he's angry and while he's cold, it's because their parents are working for him to have a better future.
Yeah.
So that's what helped me build my definition of forgiveness. Just understand the big picture.
Understand the big picture.
Not from their perspective, from a different size perspective.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Okay, we have a very interesting question from Klaus. He says, what is holding people from having a proper ending or a proper end?
Holding?
Yeah, like what is stopping people from, like what usually stops people from having proper endings?
Our fucking ego.
I think it's ego, but also I think it's fear. I think it's like, it's afraid of letting go of what's comfortable. Because sometimes pain is something we are comfortable with, so we stay with it.
I think I have to disagree. I think we are not comfortable with pain.
Yeah, we are. A lot of people are.
Yeah, but it's a misunderstood pain. So what I mean is that in order to forgive, you need to be vulnerable and humble to accept your part in the situation, and again, look at the bigger picture. And the thing about what we're saying about pain is usually people are afraid of pain. Like, okay, you need to go through this, but it's gonna hurt you. Like, okay, I don't want to go through this. Or, okay, has to end and it's gonna be hurtful, but you don't see what's
on the other side.
Yeah, what's on the other side. So people are like, oh no, I don't want to end it because I don't want to feel alone. I don't want to feel pain. I don't want to feel.
Yeah, but a lot of people stay in abusive relationships and really bad things. Yeah. Because these things are like painful, but it's pain they know.
Are more painful than those situations.
That's not true.
Yeah, I think the transition time when you decided to, that's why people don't take the next step, because it's going to be more painful than my current situation.
Or I don't know what's on the other side, so it's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary. I think it's a combination of all these things, but I also feel like a lot of us are comfortable with shitty situations.
Yeah.
And these situations, like, okay, you know, like there's a thing, like, you know, that saying, better a devil I know than a devil I don't, or whatever, how that is. And in Arabic we also say something like, hold on to your crazy, because maybe the crazy that comes after would be like wacko. And I think that's so wrong, and that's so bad, and it takes hope and faith out of things and out of life situations that are so important. And being able to find that courage to move and end things and close things. I hope we answered your question, Klaus.
Why am I not seeing those questions?
I'm on your account.
Yeah. Sorry, I missed this.
So yeah. So we talked about transition phase, we talked about endings, we talked about, what about the courage to take that step into the unknown?
The courage to take. Ooh.
I think like this conversation is going really different than what we planned.
Our plan was the other one, but that's okay. I mean, where do we find the courage to take the next step?
Yeah.
That's a hard question.
Yeah. For me, courage comes from having faith. And actually, also, one of my friends, before moving to Barcelona, I had a conversation with him, and he's remarkable. And one of the things that he told me was, I was so afraid, I was so nervous. And he said to me, you know, whenever we move on to a different and new situation, we know what's bad about it because we've researched it, we've checked it. But not until we reach there, we can actually see the positives and how things come together. And that gave me courage, the hope, the faith into making this jump. Because I came here, I didn't know anybody. I sucked at the language, and I still kind of do, but I'm a bit better. And I was here alone, especially the first few months.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that helped me a lot. Having hope and believing that the universe will give me something beautiful.
For me, it's different. For me, I don't think about it too much.
Yeah, I'm a Libra. I think my way through everything.
But I just feel when a situation is no longer comfortable. That's when I start getting the red flags. Okay, no, this is not working. You need to move. And usually, I mean, unconsciously, we already know where we're going, but we just don't want to hear. Usually, I mean, that happens to me.
Yeah, for sure.
So, the courage that I need is is actually what? It's knowing when to stop. When to stop the current situation.
Okay.
That is the courage, or not the courage. That is the thing that I struggle the most, because I know when things are not working, but I don't know when I need to stop.
I tend to drag it out.
Because sometimes I go too fast. I anticipate too much the future. So that has happened. I have ended things before they needed to end. So now I go more carefully with that timing. But I don't overthink about what's coming. I think, if this feels uncomfortable, if this sucks right now, I don't think the future will be worse. Sometimes it is.
That's really cool. But I think for me, it's like, and also I feel like there's a lot of people that feel like courage means that you don't have fears. But I love this quote by Dr. Susan David, which is, courage is fear walking. And I think that's just really powerful. It's like we don't like take the moves when we don't have fear. We take the moves while we have the fear, and just one step after the other. I love this interaction, you guys. To find courage, like to ask myself, what is the cost of staying at the same place?
Yeah,
that works very well.
That is what I meant when I said when I start feeling that it's uncomfortable, is when the price is too high. And usually it's my body that is saying me like, you're not happy.
I usually get like very angry, and I start getting like kidney infections.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. This is my body goes.
So we have a comment from Blondine. Courage for me comes from visualizing myself doing the thing I'm scared of. Oh, that's nice.
That's so cool. Yeah, Aisha's like so interesting. She's a very intelligent person.
I went to a talk the other day, and we were talking about about how we are afraid of things, and I think the speaker asked us like, what do you do in order to not to be afraid of things anymore? And someone, he was very young, he said, I always do the things I'm scared of doing.
Yeah.
I just do them.
Yeah, because he's young.
Yeah, but also he's quite smart. He's quite smart, and that's how he lives more happy.
That's courageous.
Yeah, that's courageous. Yeah.
Yeah.
What else do we have? Moving on.
Well, we have also, we said about like talking about endings and about how endings are perceived as failures. Like for example, we're talking about ending as like when you're looking at a business and it's no longer working and you decide to leave it, or a relationship or a marriage, a divorce or whatever, and you decide to end it. And a lot of people don't end these things because they feel people are going to say that they're failures, that they're going to fail, that they are like they're used goods.
Yeah. This happened to me also in a former business, that I was more afraid not of leaving the business, not of people was gonna say, about what my parents are gonna say.
That's really tough.
So the family weight that I used to have was enormous until I started just to melt on the phone. Yeah. So at some point I was talking to them and just start crying and I couldn't stop. And we have to go to talk about it, and so whatever, money's money, and it comes and goes. And if you're really uncomfortable, clearly you are uncomfortable. We're here to support you as long as we can, and so that's when I decided to leave.
It's great that you were lucky that you had parents that encouraged you.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't have that, and I feel like for example, with my divorce, it was one of the biggest things that I have decided, and I decided on my own, and I just needed to kind of it was a situation that was not serving me whatsoever. And I was lucky enough that I had supportive friends, but people around me were like, no, but stay, no, it's abusive, it's okay, things are, because it's in the cultural aspect, it was like, yeah, but in the end of the day, men settle and get better, and they just you just accept this kind of life, because this is what it is. And me being me, I was like, fuck this shit, I'm not gonna accept this. Because I was just really struggling. I was struggling within me and whatever. And one of the biggest things I felt or started thinking of was oh my God, this means I have failed. I have failed myself. I have failed people around me. What are they going to say about me? It's going to prove everything bad that people said about me. But then in a moment, I was like, but then I started questioning these things. And I was like, no, I'm going to change the story to the situation is not serving me, and I was a strong enough woman to say enough is enough and I'm out. And I celebrated my divorce because it was not a failure, it was a stand up for myself and a stand up for who I am and my values and what I want, how I wanted to be treated. And I think that was one of the biggest things, that I took responsibility and changed the story.
Yeah. That's powerful.
Yeah. I love that story. I don't say it enough. I don't talk about it enough.
It's a very private one.
Yeah, but I just feel like a lot of people out there could benefit from us being more vulnerable and more open. Especially people who are going through it. So yeah. Thank you. Yeah, because also one of my friends said to me once, he's more of a mentor than a friend. he said to me, remember that your life is now the way it is because of the hard choices you had to make. Because you're all about the choices that you made. Because the things around you don't really define you. Wow, I'm on a monologue today. The things, they don't define you, they just, your choices define you.
Of course, yeah. What else do we have in the agenda? Any comments, guys? Today you're very active. Thank you.
Yeah, they're active today, so I'm so excited. It's so nice to see. Actually, we only have like 10 minutes left really in the broadcast.
10 minutes. What time is it?
It's 9:20.
Okay, so yeah.
Because we have curfew, so he has to run back home in a bit. So that's why we decided also to do it earlier. So yeah. So we were planning on doing like a little breath technique, and we're gonna get like a color message. So maybe we'll do the color message and then
yeah,
we'll
let's do the color message.
And then we'll do the breathing technique. Okay, tell me when to stop and I'll get a collective message for the week. A color message for the week. You need to tell me when to stop.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
Stop.
Oh, that's so beautiful. So we have Sapphire. Sapphire as a message. Here the mantra says like regenerate your body, but really Sapphire is all about healing ourselves by acknowledging our truth, by acknowledging our essence, by listening to our essence, by aligning ourselves with our truth. And when I say our truth, is like who do we really, who are we? Who are we really, away from this social conditioning, from what people told us we should be? Who are we, and what path do we want to take away from all of that? And I think that's such a powerful message for this week, especially as we are going through a week of letting go and shedding, and using the body.
And shedding.
Yeah, shedding old skin. Oh, you're like thinking dogs? Yeah, as we shed old skin. So it's a really good message. Thanks.
Oh.
Okay, so let me change the music so we can have like a bit of a relaxing music this time, for our little exercise. So talk us through the breath.
So the breath work. So this technique, I like to use it for releasing anger. So especially when we go to this difficult time, sometimes we don't speak a lot. We don't share how we feel with others. So all this anger, not only anger, more emotion gets stuck in our body.
Mm-hmm.
Especially here in our heart, chest, and throat.
And belly.
And so I use this technique for the people that come to me in order to help them release anger. We will do it. We will do a very short version, but you can do this for at least half an hour, and it will help you a lot, and you will feel the relief as soon as you do it on the first round, on the first session. And we will combine it with a little color visualization that Walaa will take us through.
So what we're going to be working with color-wise, we're going to be working with orange. Orange is a beautiful color to help you release grief, sadness, and endings as we go through change. And orange is a color that whenever we visualize it, whenever we work with the energy of orange, we pull it from the earth. It's one of the colors that is pulled from the earth, and it'll be really focused on the belly.
Great.
Okay.
So the breath work will be like this. We will inhale through the mouth deeply. And then when we exhale, we will make a sound that is a vowel between A and O. So we will like, ah. Okay? And it has to be loud. And because we will do this only for a couple of minutes, you will be able to keep the volume, the sound, the deepness. But when you go deeper into this breath work, try to keep this rhythm Try to keep this the energy during the whole session. You will find that at some point you will start struggling, maybe coughing, so even to clear your throat. But this also, we have physical things here that blocks us that blocks our channels, that blocks our, I don't know how to say it in English.
¿Qué? ¿Cuál?
Okay, that blocks us. That's it.
Okay, so from an orange point of view, we're gonna be really working on the core. So it's like when you release something, when you're releasing from your belly, you're also allowing the other channels to release as well. So releasing would look like maybe feeling a bit sick, maybe yawning, maybe coughing. So allowing these ways of releasing to just be. Don't overthink them and just focus on the breath and the belly.
Okay, so we're gonna start. If you just tune in, breathwork and color visualization for releasing anger. Let's get started. So close your eyes. And start breathing through the nose first. Relaxing your neck and the shoulders. And slowly start opening your mouth and taking a deep inhale through the mouth. And exhale, making this sound. Inhale now. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. We're gonna keep going like this while Walaa takes us through the visualization.
Now as you're breathing in and
Ah.
out, allowing yourself to bring your focus to your belly. And in your belly, I want you to see a little small dot of orange light. And with every inhale, allowing it to grow and grow and grow. Allowing it to fill your belly, to fill your hips, your legs, and feeling that energy also coming in through the earth. And then allowing it to become more of like a liquid texture that is warm and that is moving in like a circular motion, like a washing machine, clearing. That washing machine circle to start from the earth into your belly and back, just creating that circular orange motion. Being warm. Creating heat. And creating a really strong release. Allow it to release stuff from your mouth as it's moving all around. And stay here for a minute with the breath and the orange.
keep the breath at your own rhythm.
And allowing the orange now to release. Releasing that visualization.
When you're ready, come back to the nose, inhaling and exhaling.
And slowly bringing yourself back into the room, back into your body. And opening your eyes.
So I hope you've enjoyed this little experiment that we're doing, breathwork and color visualization. And remember that you can keep this for as long as you want.
And also remember, when you're doing this, the days that follow might bring up emotions or things that are uncomfortable. Allow these emotions and feelings and uncomfort to flow and leave. If it stays and if it sticks for a long time, that means you need to journal it, you need to release it in a different way and acknowledge it in a deeper way. I hope our conversation today about endings gave you something you needed.
And we hope we see you next week.
We'll see you next week with a newer topic. Depends on the energy of what's gonna happen.
Hopefully not technical things happening, last minute technical
Yeah,
things.
hopefully next week it'll be easier.
And we will be on time hopefully next week.
Hopefully, yes. But anyway, we will be posting this on our IGTVs on both accounts. And we'll see you guys next Thursday. So much love. Remember, you are so loved. And you're so precious, exactly the way you are.
Thank you for tuning in. Walaa Fran here. Bye.